What's good, guys? This is a clip from our latest episode of the Gaming on the Block podcast. Hope you guys enjoy.
TSG, what's your take on the price point side of this?
Yeah, okay. So this is actually very interesting. So my first thing is the one thing I want to get out of the way is the type of NFT, right? Because obviously, like we just mentioned, there's so many types. I'm against selling in-game NFTs before the game launch. Straight up, that's just my take on it. I don't want to see you sell me something that I can use inside the game to play. That's like before the game is out. That's just, to me, is just not the way to go. I think if I completely agree, Annie, with the crowdsourcing and kickstarting and all of that, I get that. That's necessary in most instances, especially with these new IPs and new studios. I'd like to see it the way that Illuvium's done it in regards to skins and emotes and things like that, where it's like, cool, they're not giving anyone an inherent advantage or disadvantage in the game. It's just all cosmetics and fun stuff, right? So with that out of the way, because it is just the fun stuff, like the cosmetics, I'm actually going to go slightly different here. I think that the same way in Kickstarters, you have different like base packs and then you go higher and higher and higher, right? I believe that they should do that with these cosmetics before the game is launched. And I'm actually going to say I agree with the complete open market, saying that if they started it, ideally they could start at very low price points where they have an abundance of these things, where it's like unlimited of these skins at this price. That's fine. And then you have like a one of one, which in my opinion, this might go crazy. But I think if they wanted to sell it for $1 million, fair play, open market, let them do that. If one person wants to participate in that cosmetic for $1 million, thinking that it is going to be valuable at some point, fair play. They should be allowed to do that. But I do believe, again, in saying that, I don't think they should all be at that price point. I think, like I said, they need to be at a basic level first to allow people to participate. And again, it makes sense from a marketing point of view as well. If you're trying to kickstart, asking $1 million from everyone doesn't make sense. But if you make an unlimited amount of skins at $1 each, man, who knows? You might get 1 million people that invest $1 each, right? It equals the same thing. And also that means that you get more people into the community, and it makes sense. So having all of those makes sense. Regarding your thing, Will, about, sorry, my camera's flipped. Your thing, Will, about NFTs to like vote and stuff. I wouldn't like to see NFTs do that. I'd like to see tokens do that. I think that's the role for tokens. So NFTs, again, so before game launch, I think, so yeah, well, we'll discuss that, right? So pricing, I think all pricing is fine. That's my take. And then I'd like to get your guys' opinion on what I said there about the type of NFTs that are being sold. Because obviously, like,
TFG, let me jump in. Actually, I want to hit on one point you just mentioned, because your discussion on the tokens versus NFTs is interesting to me. I actually, the longer I stay in the space and the more I see what developers are building, I actually think that the whole token concept is due for an overhaul and probably is going to shift dramatically in Web3 games. So I think that the key distinction here is gamers, investors need to have the process of tokens versus NFTs split in a much more clean way. So gamers, they're interested in the gameplay mechanics and the game balance and future features that are going to come out. I actually want to see tokens relegated to the realm of investors, and NFTs or in-game assets allow gamers the right to vote from a governance standpoint in future direction of the gameplay, because that's where they're interested in. Today, if you're a gamer and you want to have the right to have some sort of influence over the game design, you have to buy tokens, which are essentially equity in the Web3 gaming company, and you have to do that from an investing standpoint. I think that structure is frankly a little bit broken. It's similar to what we see with pay-to-play and free-to-play players in games. They're both try to be catered to by Web2 companies, and they'll build a game that essentially doesn't let either type of player play the way they want to, and instead you get these kind of misaligned incentives. But I would like to see NFTs allow you the right to stake and vote and give feedback on gameplay as a gamer, and then tokens in the future allow you to have a right to give input into the financial structure of the DAO, staking and investing and funding versus like R&D. And so I'd like to see that investor class versus gamer class type of topics be split out in the future in ways that we haven't really. And this is one of the topics that I'd shared with the Illuvium team. I know Kieran's mentioned a few times like a V2 of governance being set up for that project. I think this is where we need to go as a space, is distinguish between NFTs and tokens, and the utility should be given to whichever type of player or investor, whatever they need for steering the type of the game that they're playing, the infra game or the meta game.
Yeah, and actually, I definitely want to put my hand up right now as well. Like, I admit I was wrong. I think that, like you say, Annie, I think that distinction actually is actually a really good distinction, because I was going to say I think voting should just be all done in NFTs. But I think you're actually right. Having an investor class and voter and a gaming class voter using NFTs and tokens in that way, it's actually quite smart. And I think there's a lot to go with that. So we originally discussed the price points, right, of NFTs before games came out. And again, I want to now touch on the thing that I kind of brought up before, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Because like I said, I'm very, very against selling in-game playable things for multiple reasons, right? There's the balancing thing. It just seems unfair. There's just a lot of there's a lot more cons to pros selling an in-game playable asset, in my opinion. But I'm fine with cosmetics and things like that, or collectibles or whatever, things that you can't play in the game as a fundraising tool. What do you guys think about that, Will? I want to hear your take on that. What do you think? Like, are you okay buying, like you say, a gun? Like, is that really the thing that you're okay with? Or, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, honestly. And initially, my thoughts are that I do want in-game assets to, like, that's what I want to purchase as NFTs, like, even beforehand, because otherwise, to me at least, it seems a bit not useful, a bit not as useful. That's why I would like it to be something I can use in game if I'm actually putting my money on the game beforehand. Like, I don't want it just to be a cosmetic. Like, I actually want to utilize in some way, like when I'm playing the game. And yeah, I do see from a developer's perspective how they could actually, how that would be a cosmetic, how they come up with you're getting this cosmetic, you're getting this skin in game if you invest in now and help us out. I do see that being the case. I don't necessarily agree with it though. I would want to see in-game assets that I can actually use, but I am very eager to hear your guys' thoughts and points on it, because I do believe there's a chance I might get I might change my mind as well, like you did. TSG. So props for you to owning that up, and props to Annie for being the master and just explaining and persuading in a good way.
Thanks for watching. You can check out the full episode on I Will Crypto's channel with the link down below. As always, if you like this type of content, subscribe, hit the notification button, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.